Now then, welcome back to the podcast. If you haven't done already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. It helps me out tremendously. And if you enjoy the video, please drop a like and maybe a comment. Today's guest has just come off an emphatic victory at FCC 41. Today, the podcast guest is Zac Fagan. We speak about his MMA career, how he's 3-0, some crazy New York City after-party stories, and also about him having some fantastic teammates at Aspinall Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and some really high-level lads. So please, if you enjoy it, drop a comment. Enjoy the video. Right, I'm here with the man who's just come off his fucking emphatic win on the weekend. Are you 3-0 now?
3-0.
3-0 with a absolute blockbuster of a fight on the weekend, which we will get into, mate. But how are you feeling now?
Feel good. Can finally breathe out my nose again after not being a bloody mess. But,
Mate, I'm not going to lie. That first round in particular, you absolutely give me a fucking heart attack, you know. Like, do you know, I've watched a few of my mates fight, but I don't know what it was about yours. It just fucked me up the most. Like, I was literally watching it like that, like with my head in my hands for like the whole first round. But we'll get onto that. We'll get onto that in a bit because I don't want to just like fucking jump straight into it.
Okay.
I've prepared something for you.
Right, all right.
It's a quiz.
Okay.
Right, and so what we're going to do is I've spoke to some of the people you know and your teammates, and I've got basically quotes, abuse. I'll try to keep the abuse at a minimum, but they are your teammates, you know what they're like. And just general questions. I'm gonna say you're gonna guess who it is.
Right, okay. Right.
But there's a couple at the back end, mate, which are cool, really good questions. Which I want to hear the full story of them, because one of them someone brought up and I was like, how have I not heard this story? Nice and easy, right? Who has said this? Who claims that you are the number 2 taxi driver at Aspinall Jiu-Jitsu?
Mr. Ant Hughes. Mr. Ant Hughes.
He's absolutely on the money.
Though I'm number 1, and he knows that.
I'm not going to lie, mate. Some of the stuff that Ant sent, I cannot actually say on this podcast.
That doesn't surprise me.
It was close to the bone. It was. Do you know what? I've screenshotted this, and everyone who's given me something, I've sent it to him and gone, "What do you think of the list?" And Ant was the only one that put back, "You're not giving him enough shit." Ant was the only one.
It's typical. He's nasty. He's a proper nasty person.
There was one of them, mate, where he was talking about how what was the more tame one? You're a cheap cunt on a night out.
No. That was one time. It was in Blue's Kitchen in Manchester, and he was buying rounds all night. And it was the end of the night, so I was like, I can't be arsed drinking vodka anymore. So I got us a beer each. I got us a Corona each. He was like, what's that? I was like, it's Corona. So I'm not cheap. I'm sensible.
Don't ever buy him a drink. This is word for word. This isn't paraphrased. Don't ever buy him a drink, because the cunt only drinks vodka with Coke out of a glass bottle and doesn't like the draft Coke. Costs a fucking fortune. You buy the cunt a double on your round. When it's his round, he comes back with a bottle of Corona. Proper tight cunt. was his actual quote.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. You'll never give that. That was like 2 years ago as well. You'll never, ever give that up.
Right, so you're 1 from 1 here. Good start. That was a nice, easy start, though. Second one. Who said this? What's it like to have somebody who was like an older brother to you, only to now look like your younger brother?
Rob
King. He's 2 from 2.
Yeah.
He's 2 from 2.
Typical.
He said yesterday, you used to look alike. You now shave your hair, and he looks like your younger brother.
I don't know about younger, because he's going back as well. It's not just me.
I didn't realise you two do look quite similar, don't you?
Yeah, we do. A few people have said when they start training that we brothers.
When he said it, I was like, yeah. You facial structure you do. I didn't realise till he said it yesterday. 2 from 2. Right, this one's a fucking belter, and we're going to get into this as well after you've answered it. And this is probably the easiest one. Who is responsible for the brilliant camera work when you pinged Johnny Dillon in that sparring video?
Jordan Bly.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
I sent this to Johnny. Johnny put, yeah, but I walked through it. Literally his response in typical Johnny fashion. So, because I've sent the list to everyone and said, what do you think about this? And everyone was like, yeah. And I sent it, and Johnny read it, and he went, walked through it though, didn't I? Any thought on that? He was claiming he walked you down.
I don't think he walked me down. I don't think he walked onto that right hand. He walked onto it good and proper. I've seen the video.
I've seen the edit where it's what was it? Someone did it to a tune.
That's my shit.
Yeah, it was like every time you connect, it was just boof, boof. Sick. Right, he's 3 from 3. Who has sent this quote in? Easy one again, this. You could probably guess who sent the quote in straight away, actually. Who'd send a quote in?
A quote? I don't know. Who's philosophical at our club?
I'm sure you've already got that. Who claims to be philosophical at your club?
Go on, hit me with it.
Oh, mate, you'll kick yourself. You should have got it from that. Once you cringy this, by the way, once you understand the way broadly, you can see it in all things.
Johnny.
Yeah.
That's such a Johnny quote.
It is a Johnny. Do you know what? He rang me yesterday. I was in the hospital yesterday, and I get a call off Johnny out the blue, and Johnny never rings me. He might text here and there, but Johnny never rings. So I was thinking, fuck's up with him? And I'm sat in the waiting room in the hospital. So I think I've got to ring him back. So I ring him, and I go, "Hiya," and he goes, "You all right?" And I go, "Yeah, are you?" He goes, "Yeah." It's just quiet, and I think, I just go, "Are you all right? Like, what's up with you?" And he goes, struggling with this thing. You know, you've asked me for Zach. And I went, "I've asked you, mate." I asked him 3 days. 3 days before, so it's 4 days ago now. I went, "Just don't think about it." He said, everyone's aunt's giving him abuse. I was like, "Rob said this and everything else." And he was going, "Can I just send you a quote?" I went, "All right, sound." I thought it's a good bit of balance. But yeah, once you understand the way broadly, you can see it in all things. You know what I love about Johnny? And he's going to twat me for saying this next time on the mat. But for someone who claims to be so stoic, he's not stoic, is he?
He's got that stoic side.
He has.
And then just, no.
He's stoic, but then if you ring me flapping over a quote, it's not stoic, is it?
He's just
He's
off
not
the
even,
cuff.
right, this, I'm not going to lie, mate. This is the tastiest question of the lot.
Okay.
I warned you off camera, it was a bit awkward.
Right.
This is a bit of a double, triple-barreled one, this.
Right,
I'm going to read it out, and then I want you to guess who said it.
Right.
But then I want you to answer the question they've asked.
Right, okay.
Who has asked these questions? Who's the most overrated Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the club? Who's the most underrated at the club? Who's the best at each belt level? Who's asked that question?
Oh.
I think you'll get that. In fact, actually, you might not.
Maybe Mello.
It's not Mello.
Not Mello.
I'll give you another couple chances. It's not Mello. It is a Mello question, that though, isn't it?
That is a proper Mello if it's about jiu-jitsu, yeah. Won't be Dills. Oh, that is a toughie, that one. Who's that?
Do you want me to tell you?
Nika.
It's not Nika.
Not Nika.
Do you want me to tell you?
Go on.
Danny Law.
Oh.
Danny Law.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Danny Law with a good question.
Danny has put in... Danny, to be honest, surprised the most because he was going back and forth. Because I asked everyone days ago. And then he was constantly going, "What do you think about this? What do you think about this?" And he sent me a couple of minute voice note yesterday going, "I'm going to put a cat amongst the pigeons. I could abuse him. And I won't say you what. I won't tell you the abuse, but you can probably guess." And then he was like, "But I'm going to ask this." Right, so who is the most overrated at the club? Danny Law.
Danny. He's good. Don't get me wrong, he's good. He's very good.
I've not rolled with him yet.
Overrated.
Is there?
Wrist locking.
I've heard about this.
He's a wrist locking bastard.
There was one time, mate, where it was just like someone out of a film, where through the crowd, someone connects eyes with you. I was fucked. I got fucking mangled for like 10, 15 minutes because I was doing 5-minute rounds. And then through the crowd, he locked eyes with me and was like, literally like that. Like, "Come here." And I was like, fuck. And as I went over, Andy went, "Right, that was it." So I just evaded him. Thank God. Because I've heard the stories that he just pummels white belts.
Yeah.
Just absolutely hammers white belts.
There's no niceness.
So Danny is the most overrated.
Yeah.
And then one lad at the club wanted me to mention, doesn't compete, does he?
Doesn't compete. No, to his credit, Northwest champion 2007, and he will hold on to that title until he dies. Whenever it gets mentioned, I was Northwest champion 2007.
One of the lads wanted me to mention that he doesn't. Sorry, Danny, that's not me. One of the lads wanted me. I'll tell you who mentioned it at the end. But right, who's the most underrated?
Underrated. Probably say Dills. Dills is quite good.
I've not rolled with him yet.
Yeah, Dills is quite good.
Purple belt Dills.
Purple belt Dills. And he's little as well, so it makes him a lot better.
And he did say who's the best and worst at each belt level, but I think worst is a bit close to the bone. It's up to you though. Because obviously if you have a white belt who's just started,
they don't count.
Like, it might be a bit nasty to go, well, obviously they've just started.
Everyone's shit when they start. No one's good when they start.
Right.
Apart from Jay Clark.
Thanks, mate. I paid him to say that for you. Come on. Who's the best at each belt level?
Ooh.
So from white,
Best
blue.
white belt. Probably say Young Garvey. He's probably the best
good.
White belt.
Very good.
He's
I was going to say it's probably a minute.
Blue belt. Who's a good blue belt? Maybe Alfie. Alfie's a good blue belt.
Which one's Alfie now?
Alfie got big head. I don't think you met him yet. He used to train with me at Goldburn now. He trains at St. Helens. I don't think you've met him.
No,
yet,
I don't think I've met him actually.
He's a good blue belt.
Purple.
Purple, obviously me.
Yeah.
Obviously.
How far are you off your brown now? It's a waiting game in it, to be fair. It's a waiting game in it, to be fair.
Who knows?
Brown belt.
It's a toss-up at brown belt between D'Lo and Dave Wilson.
You can't call D'Lo when you just called him overrated.
I can. But that's the thing. He's good at what he does. So if he gets in the positions he likes doing, he's very, very
Was he
good.
not rated then?
He is rated, but he's overrated.
But what I mean is he over, you say over, under, is he not just rated normally?
No.
He's overrated?
Yeah.
What's overrated about him? Go on.
Deep half. He's deep half. Because he's so big.
He's a big lad,
and
isn't
he's very good at what he does.
He's a big
Don't
lad.
get me wrong. He's very good at what he does. And he's a very, very good wrist lock. He gets a wrist lock from it. Anytime he touches his arms, he'll bend his arms in funny ways and make you tap from a wrist lock.
Right, so
And
Dave,
he's stubborn as well.
Dave or Dan, who are you going with? Dave's good,
In a
isn't he?
jiu-jitsu match.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a tough one, that.
Yeah.
It's a tough one because they're all similar sized.
Dave's good, isn't he?
Dave's good, but he's just turned 50, I think.
Which is weird because it's like rolling with a fucking
It's mad, isn't it?
the prime
It's absolutely
athlete.
mad.
Yeah.
It's absolutely mad.
When you roll with him, you forget he's 50 because he just absolutely mangles you,
You get
doesn't
his
he?
humour, you think he's a bloody gorilla. It's just pressure. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say draw on that one.
Okay. And then who? Black belt.
Black belt. Obviously Andy.
Don't say Johnny.
Obviously Andy.
Just don't say Johnny. Because you know this will
Obviously.
be getting clipped for the next fucking 50 years. Mate, Andy's like... Obviously, I have zero understanding of jiu-jitsu properly yet, but when Andy shows me tech, I'm like, how the fuck are you... Like, he'll do stuff and it's like he's glued to you.
Yeah.
He's just so heavy for a bloke his
Feels
size.
horrible,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
he's like... Even when he shows technique, I'm like, it feels horrible you doing this technique to me and you're not even trying.
The best analogy, I think, is if if someone's 80 kilos and they've got 80 kilos on you, but it's spread evenly, it doesn't feel that bad. But say you're like bench pressing and you drop an 80 kilo barbell on your neck, it's 80 kilos just on your neck, and I feel that's what Andy makes it feel like.
Yeah,
all of his weight in one position.
Yeah, he's done stuff to me like when he showed me bits of technique, and I'm just like, even just like you talking me through this is uncomfortable.
Yeah,
like he's just
not
that
even
good,
trying.
isn't he? He's just that good. Right, next one. Who has asked this? You'll get this. This is just a belt of a question. I want you to get into this a bit more. Are you going to talk about blagging your way into a UFC after party, pretending to be Derek Beaumont's security guard? Who asked that question?
That's Mello, that.
Dave
That's
Mellor.
got to be Mello,
It's
that.
Dave Mellor. And
that-
I want to hear this story. I want to hear this story. I cannot believe I have not heard this. There's so many questions that like people have sent in, and I'm like, because Mellor sent a few in, and I went, no, I'm going with that one, 100%. His other one was who's your most famous in your phone book, and I thought I'll just ask that separately. But he's yeah, mate. Listen, part of this podcast you can't speak about this.
Right.
What's gone on here? The story's about it, but I want to hear it.
So Tom obviously fought Pavlovich in Madison Square Garden, and then it finished. Pereira fought Yuri, and then it finished, and then we're in New York. I was like, right, let's find something. And then we met Derek on the plane on the way there, and he come and sat with us for about 10 minutes, and he got some drinks and stuff like that. And then we seen him. He was in this like leopard print suit, so you can't miss him. So we'd seen him, we shouted him, and we had a chat with him. He was like, oh, how mad was that? And then about 5 minutes went by. I was like, what are you doing now? He's like, oh, I've got to go to this party here, and it's in the stadium. He was like, well, we're obviously coming then.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh yeah, come if you want to try and get in. And then on the way there, he's like, they'll know me, but they won't know you, so we'll give you our wristbands. So him and his wife give me and Melski their wristbands to get into this party. And then we walked in, me and Melski, obviously eyes were like that. Couldn't see like, yeah, we're defo security. So we get into this party, and then it's like free food, free drinks and that. Bruce Buffer comes in. I was like,
What?
yeah, Bruce Buffer was
You
there.
missed his spin outs?
Yeah, Bruce Buffer was there. And I was like, I can't go over and ask him for a picture. I'm going to get thrown out. So I just sat there eating these like proper nice chicken. And I was starving as well. So I just took it into my food and Bruce Buffer walked past. I was like, Bruce, all right. Hey. And then just proper like not making eye contact. I felt like underage at a nightclub, so I didn't want to get kicked out. But yeah, so we was there for about 2 hours, lost everyone, and then finally met up with them afterwards. But that was funny. That was a funny time.
And then I've heard that Rob King double-legged him in the middle of Times Square for £1,000 bet.
Apparently so. I wasn't there for this. I was at this Irish bar, and they was walking. I think they were walking back to the hotel to maybe meet Tom. And it was going on about like it just wouldn't work, wrestling wouldn't work. So apparently Rob just double-legged him and put him on his head in the middle of Times Square. Didn't pay up, apparently. I'd have been straight on that.
100%.
Grand's a grand.
Because for context, he owns Lee Leopards, doesn't he?
Yeah.
For context, he owns a rugby team. So it's not just some random fella. If
Yeah.
you're wearing a leopard print suit, mate, you've got money.
You've got money.
McGregor wears leopard print fucking stuff. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to have some money.
He's also got a leopard print Lambo, but
Has he?
yeah.
He's
got 2 or 3 Lambos, and one of them's leopard print.
Mate, to be fair, Rob King's probably got more money than him.
That's probably true.
Rob King, mate, honest to God. But I'd have been cased him for that. But Mello was saying, because of, did he do karate? And he was like, I just know how to keep me distance.
Yeah.
He wouldn't take me down. Apparently, Rob's just dumped on his ass in the middle of
Apparently
Times
so. I'd have been still after him for that grand.
Is there any more to this story? Or is that it?
That's
because
it.
that is a fucking peach.
There's some New York stories I can't go into.
No, you can tell me off. I've heard, and we're not repeating them. Get cancelled in like fucking 2 minutes. Bruce Buffer, was it like? Could you see his aura?
Mate, honestly, I've been around him a few times when. Obviously, he's fought at when Tom's fought at London, and then we've been to the after party there, which I'm allowed into that one.
Yeah.
And he's been there, and people have gone over and asked him for pictures and stuff like that. And he just looks how he looks on TV, like he's glowing. His
perfect.
Oh mate, hair perfect, jacket glistening. And you just think, do you walk around like Asda and Sainsbury's like that?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He just
Surely
looks
not.
like that all the time. But yeah, he's definitely got some aura about him as Bruce.
Right, and the last question, which is pure abuse, this by the way. Who has said this to finish up this little segment, and then we'll get into it. When are you going to shave that covered up job off your head? The cover up job that's halfway back on your head. It's shocking.
Honestly, that could have been anyone at our club.
I think you'll be shocked to do it is. I'll give you a few guesses. You need to be quick because we are going to. It's not that like it's on audio. So if we're just sat here not talking, people are like, "Fucking hell, has this just gone off?" And you're sat here thinking, three guesses.
Give me a clue.
Can't give you a clue. The clue is you know them.
What do they look like?
I'm not telling you.
Oh.
Your clue is you know them and they're in your camp or your team or you roll with them or whatever. That's your clue. You know them all.
Say Jordan.
Bly.
Yeah.
No, he's already been, hasn't he? So that's one.
Thought it could have been a ruse.
No.
Not Bella. Not Dills. Is it Dills?
It's not Dills.
Oh!
One more.
James Ruffley.
No,
go on.
Tom Aspinall.
Cheeky bastard.
I have secured a voice note from Tom Aspinall, heavyweight champion of the world.
Cheeky bastard.
So basically, right, the other day, for a bit of context on this, that's why I've put him last, because I was like, I thought it was just chuck Tom in first thing, do you know what I mean? So I was stood talking to Danny in the gym, and that's when I went, can you do this thing? And he was like, yeah, sound. I'll see if Tom can do it. And to be fair, mate, like I've spoke to Tom a handful of times, but I don't like bothering him, just high and by. We spoke a couple of times and whatever, but like, so I was like, if he will, amazing if he will, but don't fucking pressure him. Anyway, that night, fucking get to a voice note forwarded to me, 40 seconds, and it's Tom just giving you shit. I've had to cut a bit of it out. Can I play it?
Of course you can.
Because I know this is your podcast, but this is my little flex, right? And I know you know him, but who actually has a voice note? He says my name, heavyweight champion of the world. Who's got that? Because this is a flex. I've had to cut a bit of it out. I'll tell you off the camera, but where are we here? Right.
Fucking hell, big podcast guy. Fucking hell, big podcast guy. Big Jamie Clark.
Yeah.
Ask Zac, when is he gonna fuck that cover up job? When is he gonna fuck off that cover up job that's halfway back on his fucking head? just shake it off. Because it's fucking absolutely shocking.
How many people, obviously you can't, how many of you can say you've got a voice note off the heavyweight champion of the world?
True.
That is my flex, and you'll be reading that out of my fucking funeral
It's
as
like
a
gold
fact. Mate, I was made up with that. But how was that? How was that segment? Are you shocked at how structured that was?
That was very structured.
I'm not going to lie, mate. Back me up here, Chris. Have I ever done that? No. Never done that for any guest. That's how much you mean to me, mate.
Thank you very much.
That's how much you mean to me. Right, we're going to get into your fight.
Okay.
So as I said before, mate, you give me an absolute fucking heart attack. Because you had 3 people pull out, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened at first?
No idea. The first one was all confirmed. He was ready. I think he was 4-0. So see him game for it. And then I heard he got an injury. And then I got the second one. And then it just didn't work out. And then the third one was confirmed, fully confirmed, picture and everything. I was like, oh, buzzing, this one's in. And I think he was like really tall, 6'7" to 6'9", something like that. So ready for that. And then he pulled out, didn't give me a reason. And then last minute got the lad who I fought. So
how long was it until it swapped out the last time? A couple of weeks?
A week.
A week?
A week, yeah.
What's that like? Because I know it sounds silly, but like when obviously I don't know the intricacies of fighting like you do, but that would probably just fuck me up, that. Because like my missus can say something like, we're doing this today and you can change the plan, and like it fucks my head up.
Yeah.
If you're gunning to fight someone, and then a week later they go, you're not fighting him anymore.
Yeah.
What's that like?
I think because it's not personal, like it's not personal at all, you can sort of separate it from that. Like I know I'm going to fight on this day and this time.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to be in a fight, it's just do with, but you're just preparing for different bodies, different styles and stuff like that. So again, it's nothing personal. Like if you were beefing with someone, you say you'll meet up for a straightener. It's not like that. It's just, you know you're going to fight, but it's just, it's annoying because then you've got to prepare for another style or another body shape or, you know, it's just annoying.
Yeah, I suppose if you're preparing for a grappler, then it's a striker.
Yeah.
And then it goes from a striker to a fucking wrestler. And it's just obviously your whole game plan's around that one thing, isn't it? And like the lad was good.
Oh, mate,
mate. The lad was
0-0 apparently.
Bullshit. Like I was sat there and like, I think that's what shocked me the most is obviously there was about 10 or 12 of us. And I was like, who's the lad who's Zac's fighting? Because I said, he's had fucking 3 pull out, hasn't he? And then Dave Mellor was going, got no grappling, this lad. Just a kickboxer. I went, all right, let's just take him down and batter him then, morning. Mate, the lad was mint.
Yeah,
the lad was really good.
I appreciate him taking the fight on such short notice. I know we had a couple of kickboxing fights. That's what I was preparing for. Like kickboxer, close the distance, take down, good night Vienna.
Yeah.
But no, first 10 seconds, ended up on my ass, got dropped, and then that was that.
Mate, that was honestly like, because I don't know why, I was confident for you. I was just like, I'll just batter this lad then one. He's brought him in last minute, probably, you know, just a little bit of a last minute replacement, like as they do, probably just pulled some out the crowd. Do you want to jump in, mate? Fucking fancy a go. But lad, he was out the, I think I seen, because we got there early. And then as we walked in, someone went, he's been pushed back, which I want to talk about, like pushed back. Like, was it 7 fights? He got pushed back.
Yeah.
So we watched it, we ended up watching. I watched all them, watched you, is it Josh Carrick?
Yeah.
He battered that lad he fought. Watched him, and then I got off after that. But out of everyone who was sin, mate, that lad you fought was the best striker. Like he was
good.
He was mint. And I'm not taking away from you because obviously you ended up winning, but it was more just like, fucking hell, some last minute replacement because it was obviously really good, but obviously you got dropped in the first, was it 10 seconds?
10 seconds. I think it was 9 seconds I got dropped.
You probably can't recall it, but what's going on in that moment for you?
Honestly, I remember it vividly.
Do you?
I remember seeing the punches coming, and I don't know why, I just watched it come, hit me, and I was sat on my ass, and I was like, oh, no, that's a bad start. So
is it not like where people, because a lot of people turn around when they get dropped, they say they don't remember. Do you remember all of it?
I think it depends on how you get dropped. Like sometimes you can get a flash, and it just goes black, and then you end up. But I remember being punched and then sitting down. I remember grabbing his leg. I remember all of it. It's just, I think it just depends on obviously how you get dropped and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where you get it, I think is a massive thing. Like if you get hit the back of the head, it can like distort your equilibrium and stuff, and you end up all wobbly.
All over the place.
Yeah.
So obviously got dropped in the first round. The illegal kick, which was wild, by the way. I was saying to some of the lads, although it's a stupid thing to say, probably did you a bit of a favour because you could just recompose yourself.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
we were all shouting, "Take 5 minutes, Zach. Just relax. Just take all the time." We were literally shouting it to you. But did it probably do you a bit of good? Because he was all over you, only for the first.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think if I wanted to finish that footlock, I think I'd have come up on top anyway.
Yeah.
But I think I had that footlock enough to trouble him where he had to do something like that. I think that panicked him a bit. But like you say, it did give me a little bit of time to sort of recompose myself, find out where I was, and then think going into the next little half of the first round. So, it did me all right.
Yeah, that's because I was like, although it's a fucking shit way to get what you want, like getting kicked in the face illegally, like at least it gives you the time to like get your head back around everything. So obviously, I wouldn't say you didn't survive the first round, because you ended up on top, didn't you, for the back end of the first round?
Off the back of that, then took him down with a double, and then landed a couple of shots. He wrapped a guillotine, just held it for the last minute of the round. And all the blood, you see on the video when it comes out, all the blood's like all over his back and stuff like that. But the choke wasn't there. It was just...
We could see it, yeah.
It was just...
It looked like he was more just hanging on.
I think so. I felt like
it. We were saying, like, because he had that guillotine in, and he did it again was it the second round? He had hold of something for ages.
Yeah, he had like a Keza position.
Yeah.
And he just had being like an old...
And we were saying, we was like, yeah, it's all well and good, but you're probably fucked now, because you've just knackered yourself for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
In my head, I was thinking this arm's going to be knackered after this.
Yeah, he's going to, like, we all said, it's like, as soon as he gets out of this, he's just going to be fucked, because he's just took so much time. Yeah, going into the second off the back of the first, what was the corner work, by the way? Watch the video. Corner work was class from Peely and Andy as well.
It's good, that.
Yeah, really, really good corner work, like class advice. But what was the thought going into the second? Just get him down, sub him?
Yeah, I just wanted to get top position and settle into the fight. Like, I didn't just want to... That initial exchange of the second, I land a left up right hand, he landed a jab. So we both landed 3 punches within 5 seconds. And then that was it then. We ended up clinching, rushed to the fence, and then he hit me with a beautiful throw. Again, weren't expecting it from a kickboxer.
Well, I turned around and I said, what are you on about? I said, he's just fucking like judo throwing him off the fence. Exactly. I was like, you said he had no grappling. Yeah. So I thought this lad would get took down first round and subbed in like a minute. Yeah. But I was like, this lad's actually decent.
Yeah, he was good
at grappling as well. Good. Obviously, you're mega at grappling, but yeah. So obviously, but you ended up getting his... Did you get his back from there?
No, I ended up with side control.
You ended up back on top though, didn't you?
Yeah, and then got mount, and then the submission went out my head, then I just wanted to punch him.
Yeah.
Just for that illegal kick.
There was a bit at the second where you were just like fucking throwing shots and we was all like, yeah, let's go. We was all like buzzing, but yeah, it was just pure violence. Yeah. It was just MMA that. It was just pure violence. It was, mate, from where we were sat, because we were like, I can't describe it to you, but where the cage is, obviously you walk out, we were opposite that. Right. So we was on the other side of the cage. Yeah. But from where we were, mate, it was like perfect view to see like raining down fucking haymakers. It was class. And then obviously going into the third, takedown, he comes out, whether it's cocky, whether it's flash, whatever, throws a spinning back fist, and you just mowed him. Yeah. So talk us through the last round. Just took him down.
Coming out, I just felt like he was going to do something, because he'd come out both the first rounds quick. So I thought, right, he might do the same thing. So I thought, if I duck straight away, if I don't engage in the boxing, and then luckily, as I rolled the spinning back fist, the body lock was there. And it was just jump on his back and strangle him.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened as well. So where does it go from here? So obviously you've had your 3-0. Because although, mate, we speak in the gym and whatever, like, I don't really know where's your aspirations here. Like, what's the next steps? Do you want to go pro? Is that the goal?
For me, it's to... I know I'll never be the best at jiu-jitsu in the UK. I know that. I can be good, but I'll not be the best. I'll probably never compete ADCC or be a really, really high-level jiu-jitsu guy. But I can be a really high-level jiu-jitsu guy in MMA, and I think that's my sort of niche. Yeah. So for me, it's turn pro, have a good couple of fights, 5, 10, who knows, retire, and then run the jiu-jitsu club.
Is that the goal?
That's for me. That's
Aspinall or your own?
Aspinall.
Everything
under Andy.
Has there been talks of that?
Yeah, I've said that to him.
Imagine there has been.
Before I left my job, I said that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I've put it out to, and Andy agrees. So that's the sort of goal. And obviously, you got to prove you can do something. Yeah. You can't just... You must see it a lot with like online coaches now, I think. everyone just gets qualified and then they can do it. Where's the experience? Where's the track record?
I'll be here all day talking about this.
That's the main reason I stopped doing it.
I'll be here.
Like that.
Oh, what was we on about before? We were on about that before you walked in.
Yeah.
That literally was exactly what we were talking about. And I'm not going to sit here and slag off online coaches and stuff, but
I am.
but it's not. I suppose it's not the. Obviously, we'll get back to it, but just a little bit here on that. It's like anything. The barrier to entry is just so low, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Crazy.
Like, I know it sounds really stupid. I use this analogy now. I think I've been at JITS for 2.5 months. I think it started in December. So it's nearly 12 weeks. You can take a 12-week course and be qualified.
Yeah.
Would you trust me to take a jiu-jitsu course after 12 weeks? Would you bollocks?
No.
Would you trust me to cut your hair after 12 weeks? Would you trust me to fucking rewire your house after 12 weeks? Why are people trusted to do it?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I know it sounds really stupid, but me and Chris, obviously Chris is an online coach, really good online coach as well. And like, so we have like good conversations about it. But mate, some of the clients I get, and I'm not going to slag anyone off, but some of the clients I get when I look at like what they've been sent or the advice, I'm like, this is dangerous. Like, it's not that it's, because everyone's got their own philosophy. Like with jiu-jitsu, you got your own philosophy. With anything, you got your own philosophy. But sometimes it's just wrong.
Yeah.
And it's just scary. It's like you're giving people these bits of advice. But Zach, we need to get back onto you because I'll be sat here for 2 hours talking about this, honest to God. But so the goal isn't to have a glittering pro career. It's just do it to say you've done it, then take
the thing is, who knows?
I think that's the best way to look at it. You know,
could have 4 fights. People have had less than 4 fights and ended up on contender series.
Yeah.
So who knows? But in my head, that's my plan.
I think that's a perfect way to do it. That though.
Yeah.
You just I'll have a go. It is what it is.
Take each fight as it comes. If you have a good performance, right on to the next one. If you have a bad performance, do you still want to carry on doing it? Yeah, it weren't that bad. I just lost the decision.
Yeah.
You know, things like that can happen. But yeah, you just got to take it as it comes.
Have you got an idea of how many amateur fights you want?
In my head, that's it. It's 3.
Going pro now?
Reason being, maybe not. I'll have to speak to Andy first, but mate, it's just getting paid.
Yeah.
I left my job to fight MMA.
Yeah.
And at amateur, you don't get paid off the show. You just get your ticket money.
It's just ticket money,
and sometimes it's not the best ticket money. Luckily, I'm very, very fortunate to have like 3 or 4 really, really good sponsors who help me out. One gives me some money every month, so it's very nice to be in that position. But not everyone's there for that. So going pro, at least you're getting paid,
getting some money out of it.
You're getting some do. So it is hard. It's an hard sport to.
No, it is.
To start off
it's feast or famine, innit?
Yeah.
It's literally like exactly. You go from, and I suppose, do you know what, as well, obviously I don't want to talk about it like all too much because it's your podcast, but there's a video, which you've probably seen, where Tom and Andy, Tom gets told he's won the performance night bonus, and they both fucking, Tom cries about it. Yeah. And at that moment, he was probably what you're on about. Yeah. He's just got into the UFC, probably not earning shitloads of money. Yeah. Because people think, like, you turn around and go, yeah, you get so much for winning, so much for showing. Yeah, but some of that goes to your manager. Yeah. Some of it goes to fucking everywhere. You get next to nothing out of it. Plus, like a lot of people don't realise.
And exactly. If you fight in America, you got to pay tax over there. And
yeah.
Some people think they see the value, but they don't take out what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like when you get a bonus like that video is so nice because obviously me being so close to both of them and seeing the come up really, and then seeing that, and then seeing what obviously Tom's got now, it's like really inspiring.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. A lot of people don't see, like you on about there, they don't see that, because I know it sounds silly, but like if you say to someone, oh yeah, I'm getting 10 grand for fighting, 10 grand for winning, people go, fucking hell, it's all right, 20 grand. Yeah, but if you're fighting twice a year, yeah, and you're not even getting the 40, you're getting taxed on it, you're paying your manager, you're paying your gym, you're paying this, you're paying that, you're probably going to not even get half of it. You're probably going to get way less than that. Less. But people just look at it and go, 40 grand for fighting, that's boss. Like, yeah, but you're going to see like not even half of it. Yeah. Like you are kind of struggling, aren't you? So have you spoke about going pro yet?
No, just letting this week die down and just seeing what happens, and I'll probably start back training either next week, the week after, and then just have a chat from there, just see what opportunities arise.
Yeah.
But we'll just have to have a see.
Yeah.
Because obviously the striking wasn't there.
Yeah.
In that first round, so we'll have to have a see.
You're saying that, but he was a very good striker, and that's what amateur fights are for, I suppose. Exactly. It's just to iron out the little bits in it. And what's mad as well is like sometimes you'll see, and obviously like I'm completely unqualified to have an opinion here, but I've been to like shows like the one you've done, and I've seen amateurs who were mint. Some amateurs are better than pros.
Yeah.
They just haven't turned pro yet. So I suppose it's like, it's like you said before, it's like, I suppose it's a bit of a barrier to entry. Like you could be not the best amateur and go pro and not have the best career, but you suppose at the same time, like yourself, you're 3-0, you've fucking done well in all your fights. You're in a good position to kind of go, yeah, go pro now, which makes sense. But so what's next for me then? You're just literally gonna relax from here next couple of weeks. What's this week? Do you know what? What's this week been like? Mate, I was so on it with you. I thought he's gonna win. He's gonna be loads of hype round him next week, and I want the first. I want the first interview. I've seen all these things of FCC, all these different fucking interviews. I thought, nah, I'm getting the full story. But I literally thought, was it 3 weeks ago? And I asked you, was it the week before? 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
I thought, win his fight. I thought he's gonna win his fight, and then we'll just have a fucking laugh and a talk about it. But what's this week been like? What's it like? Because none of us, we're not going to know. Like, what's it like winning a fight and just being the man for like a week?
I don't know about the week. I felt like the man for that night. I felt like I was at Rolling Stones.
Mate, I've seen the stories of you on karaoke afterwards. Like fucking 3 in the morning.
That's my trademark.
Brilliant. You and Johnny Dillon, lad. you and Johnny Dillon going strong to early out. Oh, mate. Johnny was smashing about R3, lad. Johnny was smashed with R3.
People who come and met us out, they was like, oh, Johnny's not coming out, he's in a bad way. I was like, I've just been on phone to him, he said he's coming. He walked in and he was absolutely fine.
He looked like he'd done 10 lengths. Like his eyes. Rob King said it best. Rob King looked at him and he went, he's either been drinking or he's done 10 lengths at pool. But he's come in, lad, he was fucking smashed with R3. But yeah, what's this week been like? Like, because for me, the closest thing I've got to it is when I've competed. And like that week afterwards for me, I wouldn't say it was carnage, but everybody's mithering. Your phone doesn't stop blowing up and everyone's texting, wants to speak to you. Congratulations, mate, blah, blah, blah. 'Cause you're hot at the moment, aren't you? Like you've won and everyone's like your fucking best mate.
Yeah.
So what's it been like?
Personally, it's been...
Just normal?
Yeah, it's been a pretty normal week. Like Monday, I was straight back on taxi. My face was all battered on this side. My nose was still bleeding, and I was picking people up in taxi. So that was Monday. So it's been pretty normal. Obviously, yeah, the phone's been blowing up and stuff like that. Like, felt like the man because I've passed 2,000 followers on Instagram. It's just been like a pretty normal week, to be honest. Yeah, it's been all right.
That is like the most back to normal story. Literally, having the most. By the way, mate, the fight was like class. It was like a really good fight to watch from, like, imagine from a neutral. It was hard for us because we know you, but imagine from a neutral, people like, this is a fucking banger. So you've gone from having a banger of a fight, karaoke early Sunday morning, to on the cabs Monday. Get your feet back on the ground, innit?
That's it. Stay humble.
But yeah, in terms of what's next, so with obviously you've mentioned there, like you want to go into running the club and stuff. Is there any talks of that like happening soon? Is it way down the line?
Way down the line. Whenever Andy feels like he's ready to maybe just teach his seminars or just teach a couple of classes a week or a month or whatever, then obviously the lads at the gym have obviously been training for years together now. We're in a very good place where we can all take different classes and do different things together. So who knows? We just gotta have a see what happens.
Has teaching always come naturally to you? Because one compliment I'm going to give you is you're boss at teaching.
Do you think?
Really good.
It got sprung on me.
Really good, mate. Honestly,
I never wanted to teach.
There's no one who's taught me that in there that I've gone, they're bad. Everyone's good.
Yeah.
But everyone's different.
Yeah.
You are probably the best one I've been taught by. You and Dave Mellor's really good as well. Like I say, everyone's good. But the way you break stuff down and teach, I'm like, this is just fucking perfect. For me, everyone's different. But the way you'll go, say if you have like a sequence of things, you'll chop it up.
Yeah.
And like, we'll do this, and then from there we'll do this, and then from there we'll do this. And right, we'll do it all now.
Yeah.
It's perfect. So is that like, it's just natural to you, that?
No, honestly.
Have you worked on that?
It got, massively. Like, I started teaching when I was a blue belt, which is, if I saw a blue belt teaching now, I'd be like, blue belt teaching a class. Yeah. But it was only when Tom got into the UFC, he said, will you cover my class for a few weeks? And then that was that. I just ended up teaching then. And then, I just found a way what would work for me. Like, what would I want? And I love the way Andy teaches because it's like details, but you've got to obviously know what you're doing first before you get the finite detail.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to see the big picture, and then you can focus on the little picture to understand why the big picture works.
Yeah.
But I think, especially teaching like new people and blue belts and stuff like that, I think sequences are very good because it shows what can happen in a roll or in a fight, but then every little detail of that position of this can happen from here, this can happen from here, and it could just go on and on and on and on and on, but without getting too confused in the sort of flow of the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So say, for example, say you're a guard pass. Yeah, they could sweep you, they could roll you, they could do all this type of thing to get into your legs. And so, no, just do the guard pass. Nice and simple. Break it down. Everyone's happy. And that's just the way I like learning.
Yeah.
Just nice and simple.
I think it's effective though, because obviously I've only been doing it a few months, but I already appreciate like how vast the well of jiu-jitsu knowledge is. And like, I imagine when I've spoke to some of the higher belt lads, even they're like, I still don't know anywhere near the full amount. Like, it's every day's a school day kind of thing. Yeah. Like, one thing when I get taught stuff is like, I get taught like, whether it's like, I was getting taught, is it lasso guard the other day? Johnny was teaching that. And his shoulders like 3 or 4 different, well, if this goes wrong, does this, do this. And then if that goes wrong, do this. And I was like, there's just so much that could it's all well and good on paper, but there's like a million different outcomes.
Yeah, so many variables.
So I suppose it's writing, like doing the basics, then going from there. I suppose that's the best way to do it. But when you first took it, has it always been like that, or have you worked on it?
Massively worked on it. Yeah.
Was it a bit of like, was your first one just a bit like fucking nerve-wracking or what?
Yeah, it was a bit. I don't remember it. I don't remember my first.
How old were you? 27 now, aren't you?
Yeah.
How old were you? Would have been about 23, 22.
23 maybe, yeah, 23, something like that. And yeah, it was just because it was sprung on me. I just sort of, right, what am I good at? And I'll teach what I'm good at first.
Yeah.
Which is...
It's daunting as a blue belt, that,
Of course
mate.
it is.
It's daunting as a blue belt, that. Jesus.
And then there was a good quote, I think it's originally from Hickson Gracie, it was like, a good teacher will show people what they want to learn, and a great teacher will show people what they need to learn. Yeah. And I took that and then think, right, what's he bad at? What do they all need? Not just what I'm the cock of the gym, I'll show you. Not like that. It's just what do people need to learn? So that was how I sort of took it. And then anyone can show like what their A game is, or what they're really, really good at, or what they know a lot about. But then you obviously got to see what you're not good at, working on it yourself, and then teach it to people. Yeah. And so when did you start jiu-jitsu? Would you have been about 19, 20, or was it earlier than that? No, I was 12.
12?
12, yeah. When I very, very first started.
Because I'm still trying to learn the belts. So you'd have only got your white belt when you were 16,
No,
17?
I was still a white belt. Everyone starts at white belt, kids and adults. And I've never got any belts, no stripes. And I did that 12 to 15. And then I was playing rugby at the same time.
So how did you get into it? Sorry to interrupt you, but was it just because you knew Tom, you knew Joe?
No, I didn't know anyone.
You didn't?
No, so in Goulburn, where I'm from, there's football, rugby, or there was Fight for Fitness, the gym.
Peely's place. Yeah, yeah.
And then that was near my nan's house. It was near my house as well, but my nan seen it. So she passed that on to my mum and dad. They took me down. And I started off doing the Thai boxing with Peely. Yeah. And then wrestling with Shane. And then Tom was doing the nogi, and it was all included. So, and Tom was only 17 then, and he was my first jiu-jitsu coach. And then obviously me being 12, I didn't have obviously no money at all, so I couldn't buy a gi or anything like that to stay and do Andy's class. And then he finally convinced me to stay. My mum got me a gi reluctantly, and then did that for 3 years, and then stopped it to play rugby. So when you stopped, when you was 15, and then come back when you was 18. Yeah. Why? I didn't think at that time there was no floor grappling. There was no big ADCC tournaments that people were selling out T-Mobile arenas for. There was none of that. It was just jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And I didn't know anything outside of that. So I thought there was no money in it. I'm not going to be good at it. So I just thought I was all right at rugby and I'll play rugby. Yeah. And then I got annoyed at rugby and I just come back to something to do. And then here we are. Yeah, it is weird though, because I think, like, I know it sounds stupid, but even MMA, mate, I think people have a bit of a rose-tinted glass thing about MMA, but
15, 16 years ago, it was still relatively not unknown, but like, do you know what kicked it off for me? The fucking game, when the game came out on Xbox. 100%, mate. Like, there was lads in our school, and like, I remember he was in like year 10 or whatever. Do you remember the first one when it had Forrest Griffin on the front of it, the Undefeated game? And like a few lads from there went training at Wolfslow in Widnes.
Yeah.
Went training there because they literally played the game and was like, fucking hell, this is boss, this.
Yeah.
And just went from there. But, mate, it was still kind of like, not blacklisted, but it was still a bit like frowned upon, wasn't it?
Like taboo.
Yeah, it was. And it's
I
only
remember
recently.
telling people at school, and like especially like older kids, were like, "Oh, there's that kid who does MMA. Oh, show us a move then."
Yeah, like you're dancing.
Obviously,
show us a move.
I still remember that. I think I was in like year 8, year 9. And
show us a move.
Show us a move. And obviously, I didn't know anything then, so I couldn't show them nothing.
That's class. Like, what was you expecting you to do? Just fucking fill someone in the middle of your school. Class.
And I was a proper scrawny kid as well. I used to hate fighting. It's still not nice, but I sort of enjoy it more now.
Yeah. It's more of your job in it now, I suppose. Exactly. But yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, I think people I sometimes forget, mate, like when you look at all these mega fucking sponsors and like obviously TNT come down to our gym quite a lot. Like, that was not non-existent like 15 years ago.
No.
And so I suppose like, because obviously MMA was more of a, obviously jiu-jitsu's been around longer than MMA, hence like UFC 1, because it was that was the original thing. But like in terms like mainstream, when did jiu-jitsu properly kick off? When would you say? Because I can understand why you start, because it's like,
I still don't know if it's mainstream, but I think it become very popular in like the late 2010s, maybe 2018 onwards, when Gordon Ryan sort of became a notoriety and he started like in the DDS and he started lead locking everyone, and everyone just sort of fell in love with jiu-jitsu again. And then in lockdown, there was a series on YouTube called Daisy Fresh Grappling, and it was about this like shithole gym in buttfuck nowhere in America, and these lads who slept on the mat in this like sort of dingy looking gym. The mats were ripped and it was sweaty, and they lived there and they slept there, and everyone just sort of fell in love with that. And like, they're so dedicated to the gym and they lived there, and then that was it then. And then their team has become very popular. They've had people go to like the world championships and stuff like that. And I don't know, I think it's just become more and more popular, I think, since like lockdown and stuff like that, because more people had time to train and do it, even though they shouldn't. They should. There's a lot of scamming here.
That's a separate fucking podcast. We'll get our tinfoil hats on and we'll do another episode. It's all a scam.
Damn it.
But no, it has kind of kicked on from me. It's kind of MMA in general has kind of like took massive steps forward, but like, I don't know, jiu-jitsu for a while, like it's fucking such a brilliant sport, but like it felt like a bit of a side piece to MMA, didn't it? Well, now it's kind of got its own actual thing, I suppose. Yeah. So I can understand like why a lot of people like yourself, like you go, oh, there's not really a lot in this, is there at the minute? I'll just go and fucking play. But what made you come back then? Because obviously you said you wanted to do it, but was it just fuck it, just go back to that?
Yeah, just go back to it. Like, I always enjoyed it. I weren't very good at it, but I always enjoyed it. And I enjoy being around Andy and Tom and the lads. Like, I've trained with some of them lads since day dot. Like, trained with Rob since the very first day, you know. Yeah. So I've just always known them, and they've seen me grow from like a little 12-year-old kid to what I am now. It is cool, that. So I just enjoyed it. So I enjoy being around them. So I just went back for something to do, and then here we are.
As I always thought, because this is what's like interesting about speaking to you about this, because I always thought you were like, you'd been mates with Tom, Andy, Joe, for example, like your entire life.
No.
Like, that's kind of the way it got spun to me, though. Yeah. It's like, oh, he's been mates with him his whole life. Yeah. Like, I come into this thinking that.
No, it was, Tom was 17 and he was a purple belt at the time when he started instructing. Me and my mate called Lloyd, we were just the two kids who went, there was no kids classes then. Yeah. We were just training in the adults class. And then some days it was just us three, and Tom would just teach us these like mad techniques and stuff like that. Yeah. And we'd be able to catch the adults with it. But that's how it started. And then obviously when I was 12 and he was 17, there was no friendship there. It was just It was nice to me because he was my coach, but we weren't friends. It was only when I come back and I was 18 and I had a bit of life experience then and had a couple of girlfriends and whatnot. And I could, get in on the lad chat then. It was, that's when we really became friends.
It's funny that because I've got a few, I've got a couple of like rugby lads, funnily enough, who I train, and they're like 14, and say like, if she listens to this, she'll go mad. But like, say when my bird does me head in, like say like she's texts me something, I'm like, fucking no, it's like your bird texts you something, you go, for fuck's sake, and like I'll turn around to her and I'll go, stay single, or like don't get a bird, and they just kind of go. I'm like, you have not got a fucking clue what I'm on about here. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll try and like, I'll make a joke and go like, listen, you don't need this. Stay single, focus on your rugby. Like, and you just go, yeah. And I'm just like, you have not got a fucking clue what I'm on about here. But it's like you say, when you come back, when you are 18, 19, got a bit more, you're a bit more like a lad then, aren't you?
Exactly.
But yeah, I always thought you were mates with him for fucking years. That's the way it got spun to me. But yeah, this is a surprise to me, mate, to be fair. What's it, mate? What's it like though? Seeing, obviously, like you've just said there, like you've known him since like you were 12, he was 17. Is it weird? No, seeing him now, and he's like,
to me, it's not weird because I always knew he'd be good. Obviously, you don't understand or don't realise how good someone's going to be until they do it.
Yeah,
but he was always good, Tom. But I don't know. It's never been weird. He's just my mate. Like, I don't treat him any differently to my other mates. He's just my mate who happens to be really, really good at fighting, but he's just my mate.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I suppose to you it would be, but like, yeah, it's a weird one to get your head around because obviously, no offense to my mates, like, but they're not. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm saying that in the nicest, don't fucking go mad, lads, but like in the nicest possible way, we're just normal lads. Do you know what I mean? Like, we just work normal jobs. Like, none of your mates is the fucking UFC fucking heavyweight champion, nothing like that. So I suppose it is the same though, mate, because like we're like, you'll know yourself, like obviously you're doing well with fighting and stuff now, and obviously I'm quite popular in my career. And my bird always goes, fucking people up your ass now, because it's just like you're good at your job. But my mates aren't asked. Yeah. They'll just give me shit. They're not asked. So like, I'll have messages going like, oh mate, fucking sing this, so inspirational. But our mates will just send me and going, you fucking soft cunt. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're not bothered. Yeah, mate, I'm trying to think of what else you'd want to speak about here, to be fair, because I asked you some stuff that you wanted to speak about before we got into this, but yeah, is there nothing else?
I think that's me. Honestly, I'm a pretty boring guy.
You're not boring.
Outside of fighting, I'm pretty boring.
You like, definitely, mate. You're not a boring character.
I've got a taxi and a dog. And that's me. That's me. That's my life.
So, before we finish, what's the next year or two looking like? Because obviously you've mentioned there like a bit of a short term, long term goal. What's in your mind now going forward?
Within the next 2 years, hopefully, turn professional. Have a good couple of fights, maybe 4 or 5 pro fights, and then see where we go from there.
Cool.
That's me.
Sounds good, mate. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.